It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've been here at the Dungeon Junkies podcast.
Yeah!
Best intro yet. Maybe. Season 2, everybody.
Everyone was silent.
Season 2 introduction. How's
so
everybody
excited.
doing? I am here at the table with, starting on my left, Alex.
Taryn Van Sanson?
What's your real name?
Alex.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Alex, hey, hi, what's up?
We have to tell him who he is each time.
Hey, it's Nick.
And Henry.
And Kenny. I don't know what it did. It's been a long time. I am your dungeon master, and we are beginning our campaign in a very interesting place.
Season 2.
Season 2. So this episode, guys, we are just going to kind of talk about what happened, where we're at. We're going to talk about our characters, our new characters. Yep. We're gonna dive into kind of everything that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty good.
Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we are beginning our campaign 6 months after the events of our last campaign.
Whoa.
Huh?
Whoa.
Now, if you listen to the last campaign, you would know that at the very end, a very big, scary dragon was resurrected at the very end of the campaign that pretty much wiped out everything. Wiped out, well,
Great.
for what you may know.
Well, didn't it just
Your
go
old-
black?
You don't know what happened.
Well, we know
Probably.
it went black.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened exactly.
We did.
We saw a lot of fire, and
But-
then everything went blank.
We became best friends with a dragon.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And Dashu was a dragon that was the immensity of Dashu is almost undescribable. His death created a whole new area. I mean, and Quavius, who was the wizard that had begun the Council of 12, which was discussed in season 1, was the one that took him out, basically summoning comets to fucking level this whole area out, and that's how Mage Marsh was created. So I think that's important to mention here. This thing's resurrected, it's alive, and where we're at now, this thing is fucking things up all around the world. And that is kind of where we're at and what we're going to dive into with season 2. And that's not the only problem either. You guys know in season 1, you were primarily battling devils and demons, right?
There seemed to be a conflict there.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been up to no good for now half a year.
Yeah.
Now that conflict has escalated.
I would imagine so.
Along with
And
the giant dragon.
it was kind of mentioned and implied throughout season 1 that this problem kind of started off small with these things showing up everywhere. And now it's like they're everywhere. They're all over the place. And what I would really like to talk about is sort of like how they're kind of advancing.
Okay.
They're advancing now.
Like on each other, but the wars.
I can't tell you that.
Well, but they're like more common in the world and
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
They are out. They are
Whatever's
fucking
going on there.
shit up.
Okay.
Okay, so they're fucking shit up. They're not like, I'm going out to the mail and my neighbor's a demon and we're waving at each other.
We've
That could-
interconnected
and-
worlds.
That could be a possibility. You don't know.
Oh, yeah, because he ain't telling you he's a demon
Yeah.
until he rips your
Could be a
throat out.
possibility. But
People are paranoid.
Then you'll know.
whatever conflict between these devils and demons is escalated.
Great. Okay.
And that's something that you might have to deal with at some point. Maybe.
We're gonna have to deal with
If you choose to do so. It's your world.
Oh,
Or it's my world that you're in. But you have options. You got options, okay? You got options. That's kind of what's happening, guys. That's just a real quick... And I just don't want to give away too much.
That's fine.
But if you guys have questions, fucking ask.
What's
for
Cock
sure.
been up to since Dashu's
Good
revival?
point. Now, Cock is still hiring. They're kind of more prominent now. As you know, when your characters in season 1 were employed by Cock, who had kind of said that they're kind of the one defending force against these forces of evil, right? Well, they were kind of just starting off almost. They're a lot more prominent now. There are sections of Cock all over the continent now. And
Cock's gotten bigger.
Cock's gotten much bigger.
Okay.
And it's more of an organization now.
Okay.
And your new characters, of course, you guys know, the audience will now know, are employed by Cock.
Okay.
And we're kind of... The story from season 1 is continuing, where everything is going to be not the same, obviously, but we're continuing kind of the same storyline off season 1, just so the audience knows, like, it's not like a completely different world, completely different everything.
Right.
Like, we're in the same place. Yeah. We got new characters. We got a new start.
Yes, it's 6 months later, and also things have gotten much worse.
Yes, and that's what I want to, and that's something you're going to deal with. I will describe the new area you guys are beginning in after we talk about our characters, of course.
Cool.
And that is, I think that's where you'll kind of see, like, oh, like, even these people are fucking dealing with this. Like, I'm excited to talk about that. So, you guys got any more questions for me? Things maybe the audience wants to know? Let loose, man.
I guess we'll get it out of the way while we can. Has there been any word from the party that was sent to deal with Dashishu?
There has not.
Okay. What's the region like, though? Or is it just a big fuck mess now?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, just a big fire.
I'll tell you one thing. Mage Marsh is wiped out.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe there's no Jack army fucking shit up. Maybe they also got
Hopefully.
wiped out.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
but
He
Jack
did take
also,
fire damage.
Jack also has.
You guys
Jack
also
has the heart.
That's why I'm hoping he got wiped out. Maybe it got destroyed or something.
keep in
Probably
mind,
not.
Jack. You guys did figure out Jack was a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the minions
Well, and that was the whole
fire.
that was the whole point of getting the heart too, wasn't it? To resurrect the Shushu.
We don't know
You
why
don't
he
know.
wanted it.
Oh.
He wanted,
And that's
possibly
something you're gonna have to
different
possibly deal with, because
So the
you
heart's
don't
still not
know
accounted for.
you don't know why you need that yet, because that was kind of an unsolved mystery, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you know that's something that fucking Cock needed, right? Cock always needs a heart. How's it gonna get blood pumped to it?
Yeah.
It doesn't have a heart.
Oh shit. Has it gone limp since we've been gone?
Yeah, Cock has gone limp, but it's gotten stronger.
Okay.
Nice. And so it looks like he had like a stroke, like half his face is like, drooping down.
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't know if that's how that
Probably
works,
not.
but we're trying here.
That's not how that works at all.
Yeah.
But
He's a dragon. Magic things happen. Whatever.
because magic. So it's kind of where we're at. You kind of know the heart's needed, or Cock at least needs the heart for whatever reason.
And it's missing.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
So,
and that's a mystery we'll dive into.
Yep.
Who knows when? Yeah, it just depends on kind of what path you want to take.
Right now,
And-
we're in battle.
And one thing I personally wanted to work on is giving you guys more paths to work with.
Okay.
I have a lot of different directions we can go, which is gonna make this. It's just gonna make it a lot more exciting, and it's gonna be more dangerous than the first season was, because that's kind of just how things happen, man.
We are level 5.
I like danger.
And we're starting level 5.
Danger, it's my middle name. Thinworth Danger
Well,
Phantos.
that's a good segue. If we got no more questions,
Yeah, I think we're ready to start.
let's dive into our characters. Starting on my right.
Alright, I'm going to be playing Finworth, not Danger. Although, I don't have his middle name, so it could be. Finworth Fat Toes.
He calls himself Danger.
Yeah, he calls himself the Halfling Artificer. And I'm going to be playing the Gunsmith path. He's a chaotic good little halfling boy. Got blonde curly hair, blue eyes. He's small, even for a halfling. Comes in at a whopping 210. So yeah, under 3 feet.
Wow.
But he's 55 pounds, so he's kind of a chubber. He's a little round guy.
Is accurate.
He looks similar to the kid from Bad Santa.
All right.
Except
Do you
he-
want any sandwiches?
yeah, exactly. Except he's got mutton chops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Now I'm gonna imagine that forever.
Yeah, that's a really close representation of what he
like
looks
that.
like. But he wears oh darn it, I have it here. Yeah, so he's got like lab goggles, like kind of steampunky
Hell
little
yeah.
goggles. He's got a blue shirt, nice button-up shirt with a bright yellow vest, and he's got bright yellow pants to match it. With he's got also a big tool belt with a whole bunch of different things on it, and he has a really interesting looking, like bright yellow bag that's got his face painted on it. He's got a bag of holding.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think he worked for Vag, which is the Vandoria Artificers Guild, and that's where he got his start, where he did most of his working. Before that, where he kind of learned to mess with tools was at his parents' cobbler's shop. He has both his parents, and he has 10 siblings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they all work at the cobbler's, which is Fat Toes Holsters. Holster being the halfling word for shoe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Sometimes people don't get it, but they'll understand soon.
Well, halfling is not a very common language.
Yeah,
They don't
that's
like
true.
it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
so-
Very true.
But so he started working at the cobblers, went to Vag from there, and since then that's kind of where he leveled up, so to speak, working at Vag and learning how to make magic items and different kinds of things. They really loved his gun idea that he came up with. He thinks he came up with it. Nobody's told him otherwise. But
I would say, you might be pretty accurate because there may not be any gunsmith. You don't.
Yeah, it would.
Maybe we'll run into one.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he thought he fucking came up with it.
So,
Who knows?
he was the only one in Vandoria, so he had a pretty good spot in Vag until he got a pretty decent pay offering, and he kind of likes doing the right thing, and adventure is, because he's not afraid, definitely not afraid of things.
He's like a brave bad Santa kid.
Well, like, stupidly brave. Like he doesn't have fear.
Yeah,
And that's not good.
It's not super great.
Yeah. So, the idea of working for Cock really appealed to him, so he, switched over to that side real quick. It's not really a side. He didn't really think it was a side, because Vag isn't, they're just, in there to make money.
Yeah.
But they weren't happy about losing his skills with guns.
Yeah.
And so, when he didn't tell them why he was leaving, so when he left, they were like, okay, and they gave him the note saying, it's a former member of our guild, and he's a great guy, and then they heard through the grapevine that he's working through Cock. So now it's like, he's got the note saying that, he used to work for Vag, and he's an upstanding guy, but if anybody were to go like, hey, Vag, what's up with this guy? They go, fuck him.
Yeah.
You don't like him.
That's like that job interview, and you give them the reference and hope they don't call.
Exactly. Except as of this point, Finworth does not know that they don't like him.
You'll find out.
Yeah, cool. Because he's also just like a happy guy, so he'd be like, well, I don't understand why you wouldn't like me.
Yeah.
You went to work for these guys instead of you.
I like you.
Yeah, I still like you. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for Finworth.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see everybody's characters. To be honest,
Well, great.
it's real unique this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess I want to. I guess I should get into a little bit what he does. He was a gunsmith, so I have a rifle that I use called my Thunder Cannon, which has up to a 500-foot range.
Damn.
That's with disadvantage. Up to 150 feet.
Yeah,
without
that's what I
disadvantage.
figured.
Yeah. And then I also can craft magical items. So far, I've only crafted my bag of holding, and I have a wand of magic detection, and that is it's a super enormous wand it's probably about 5 feet long, and it's telescopic. So anytime he uses it, he whips it. It's almost like a fishing pole, and it just bends over. It's like a fishing pole being pulled down, and it just points to wherever the magic is. But it's super heavy, so he's always leaning with it, and it kind of drags him along. But it's homemade. And also, he's been, for the past few years, since he started working at Vag, he's been working on building a robotic giant eagle.
That's right.
It's currently in his home, still being worked on.
Yeah.
But that's something he's been hoping to finish. It's getting close to finishing, but yeah.
That sounds great.
Well, it'll be cool to kind of play off everybody's character, and especially at the beginning. I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a really interesting mix of this specific race that you're going to be associating with.
Yeah.
For sure, I'm excited.
It's very different.
We'll find out here after 2 more character descriptions. Are you ready, Nick?
Yeah, I am.
I'm
excited.
All right.
Me too.
So, I am going to be playing a tiefling cleric named Dr. Euphoria.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yes, he prefers to be called Mr. Doctor.
That's right.
And to clarify, he's not necessarily a doctor. That is just his first name. His parents did not like him. Actually, that's a lie. But a lot of influence from and this is gonna sound kind of crazy. I took influences from a bunch of different kind of mythologies and
Shit, tell us, man.
So
I don't care how weird it gets. We get weird here.
First and foremost, I kind of the tieflings in this community, right? They are shut off from the rest of the world.
Sounds pretty normal.
They don't like to associate necessarily with other people, right?
Yeah.
So they keep to themselves, and I gained a lot of inspiration from the TV show Vikings. And that's kind of how I want the mentality to be in that community, where they are religious, right? And they have their own set of beliefs and their own culture.
Right.
And at the same time, part of that is a dog-eat-dog world mentality, you know?
Definitely.
So outsiders are not welcomed, right?
That's cool to know.
So specifically, Dr. Euphoria, his parents, he actually gains some of his, I guess, purpose in life from his parents. His parents were the high priest and high priestess of their community, and the town name is Flugermart. And so they, as a community, their highest god that they worship is the god of violent sea storms.
Okay.
Right. So kind of imagine this to be a coastal,
town tieflings.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they actually pirate tieflings?
No, in a tent.
I just love pirates.
They're like the Greyjoys.
So when I think of pirates, I think more of rebels, and I think more of
They're closer to Vikings.
They're closer to Vikings,
Yeah.
where they're much more family oriented, where they have and don't get me wrong, pirates have that too, but I think what is different between like Vikings and pirates, at least for me, is that first off, there's like that religious aspect is huge, or there's
a society, there's a home.
Well, pirates just go around raping everybody.
Right.
And they just go around sticking it to the man, sticking their penises in the man.
Raping
in the man.
In the man. But and they just go around and pillage and cause trouble. Don't get me wrong.
They pillage and cause trouble.
Yeah, these guys, they certainly,
put it in the man.
put it in the man, but they don't go around and they'll go raid another village, right? But they won't rape the women and children.
Yeah.
They'll fight with and in fact they actually give the women and children an opportunity to like join.
Okay.
Essentially, so it's
very like respect.
Viking.
It's like a respectful.
You could be a salt wife.
It's like a respectful like warriors
Exactly.
environment,
And
warrior
also,
code.
And the other thing too with this is that very much like the Vikings, men and women are like completely equal. This isn't a time where men own a woman or a wife, or you know what I mean. Like they are viewed as equals in the community.
How progressive.
Yeah, very progressive. But I mean, it just goes to show, because his father's the high priestess, or high priest, and then his mother's the high priestess. So they both hold honor in their village.
Okay.
So to speak.
Cool, man.
Something specific about Dr. Euphoria is that he was the healer. Whenever they would go out on their villages or their adventures, whether it be getting supplies, going to war with another community, whatever the case is, he was the person on the ship. And he, because being, obviously the kids of his the number ones in the village. Everybody looks up to him in high respects.
Right.
But he's conflicted.
Okay.
And he's been told his whole life, what he's supposed to be doing, right? His parents,
Yeah.
you're gonna worship and you're gonna be in.
He never had an opportunity to be independent.
Exactly. He doesn't know what his purpose in life is. He's always been told what his purpose in life is.
Like anybody raised in the church.
Exactly. And so that's actually where his journey kind of begins,
Cool.
because he does the one thing that is forbidden,
Yeah.
and that's leaving. Once you leave
Hell yeah.
and you essentially
Cut yourself off.
you denounce yourself
Right.
from the village. There are ways to get back in, but they're not easy.
Yeah.
Gotta kill a kraken or
That
something.
real quick, that's gonna be a really interesting mix with the story, and I'm actually really excited to see like what happens, because you guys maybe picked up on this. This story has a huge religious like impact on it.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten into crazy details, but we will get to those details in this season.
Your character would be the first religious character we've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fucking really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about
And you
that.
guys are gonna see deadass right at the beginning of this campaign that you're working with a pretty religious, actually let's just say the most religious group of things.
Cock?
No.
Oh, okay.
The most religious race that you can have probably
okay,
in
gotcha.
D&D.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gnomes.
It's gonna be really interesting.
They're Scientologists.
It's gonna be really interesting. I'm excited to see that.
So now, even though he doesn't quite know what his purpose in life is, he still fully believes in his God.
Yes.
He still is. He still meditates. He still prays. Does his.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I haven't thought too much into how he worships, right?
Yeah.
But he still
That's
follows
okay.
this. But I think what's really cool about his alignment specifically is chaotic neutral.
Okay.
He's not a bad person. He's not a good person. He's just kind of a guy trying to find his place in the world and find purpose and to go out and to have an adventure.
Yeah.
So more about, I guess, his demeanor or him himself. A lot of his spells that I specifically had him, a lot of them had to do with water, and
That's awesome.
I really like that connection.
So do I.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
It reminds me of like, I always jump to anime, but it reminds me of like anime, like Fairy Tail or Black Clover or something like that.
Oh,
where
you're a water
each
mage.
magician has like a specialty, right? Where it's like thunder magic, and that's kind of how I made Damien that path.
Gun
where,
magic.
Damien was like fire magic, like he
right.
loved fire magic. That's kind of, I love that shit.
And I think something that's really cool about this
Really
too,
hard right now.
is that he worships.
Me too.
He worships like the the god of like violent sea storms and shit like that, and he's actually resistant to fire as well.
Yeah. hell
So
yeah.
like even like that kind of just bringing everything together.
It's okay if the ship gets struck by lightning and catches fire.
Yeah.
So he is he's about 5'8", weighs about 175
Average
pounds.
build.
Yeah, average build.
Yeah.
A little bulkier than average build. Is that muscle or is that fat?
It's muscle.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, because he's been on and off of ships his entire life.
Yeah, so
in
he's-
battle and healing people and
That's a good,
You know.
like, healthy, muscular weight.
He's over twice as tall as my character.
So-
I'm just imagining how tall twice as tall.
he's 5'8".
Imagine.
Yeah. So he's 5'8". He has black hair, silver eyes, and I kind of
What do his horns look like?
his horns. They're actually they're like that. They're like it was like a grayish purple or a purple that I wanted to do because
Okay.
his cloak, and I know this isn't the exact median for showing people what it looks like, but he wears he has there's like a vest. He has like an undershirt and shit like that, and then he has a vest over that, and then he has a cloak. The cloak kind of pops up close to his ears, like a really high
Let
cloak.
me interject
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. Is Dr. Mr. Dr. Dracula.
No, he's not. And he loves purple, and so it's a black coat, but with
Purple
really
inlays.
nice purple trim going
Oh.
around.
Okay. That's
That
expensive.
sounds
pockets.
nice.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
And he carries a warhammer, and specifically, he actually has a lucky rabbit foot that he puts on his war axe, and he carries that. He's always had that. And
Yeah.
so it's just part of their culture, and so yeah.
Does he have like ram horns, or are they just like bull horns?
Yeah, they're just like little. I would say probably imagine like horns coming out of the top of his forehead, like I would say right above his eyes, kind of slanted outward.
Okay,
a little.
yeah.
And they're only about 5-6 inches.
Okay.
Wait, that's a half foot. That's pretty good.
That's a large knife.
I would say
6
that's...
inches is like. So it just go. They just go straight out.
Yeah,
Or like curve up,
they
kind
point,
of?
They kind of point outward.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. Hell yeah, man.
What about his tail?
Oh,
You
yeah.
got a long ass
Yeah.
tail, right?
True.
Yeah, I do
yes.
have a tail.
Tieflings do have tails,
Yes, and I always forget that.
Is it the same color,
Yes.
like same grayish purple?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's that same grayish purple. And I don't know if the color necessarily has any significance to
Not
Yeah.
not like Dragonborn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Very cool, man.
any other question?
I don't think so.
I'm ready to get to
This
my
is your
character.
deal.
Hell yeah.
No, we're good. We're
It's your
done.
deal.
That's it.
Damn, we're going to Alex's character. Who the fuck are you playing?
I am playing a man named Terran Van Sanson.
That's the actual man, right? Like a human man.
Yes, he's a normal human man, a little on the taller side, but not too tall. He grew up under a man named Farron Van Sanson, and his mother was named Sharon Van Sanson. So, and he is a paladin, but he grew up as a criminal.
Awesome.
He grew up under his mother and father's group thief guild type of thing, and that's how he grew up his entire life.
What's your race?
Human.
Okay,
A
okay.
human man. And so, but with that,
What was? Do you have a name for their criminal organization?
not really. Most of them just reference the Van Sansons in a way.
I was thinking it was like the
so-
Flying
I was
Van
trying to-
Sansons.
Van Sansons.
It's
I
like
was
they
trying
were
to think
a
of something sexual.
circus / criminal enterprise.
Circus?
Well, yeah, that makes you Robin.
Oh yeah, I guess so. But so, unfortunately, with that, being a thief and all, comes with the possibility of bad things happening to him, and that's exactly what happened, is that he went out with his entire family to raid a mansion of sorts, and unfortunately,
Bunch of
they
criminals here.
knew they were coming. They knew that me and my family were coming. And
got a rat.
They were ready for us. Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, his parents were killed, and a lot of pretty much everybody there
Jeez,
that
your
was
parents
there.
were killed?
Yeah. His parents were killed, kind of like Batman, I guess you could say.
No, they were killed being innocent.
Yeah, that's true.
They were
Also
killed
true.
being robbed, not robbing.
Still compared to that. So he was let go, although he did have to cut off his pinky fingers on both hands, and that's only
Jesus.
because he was just a young man. They didn't feel like being that torturous to them. But with that, he went through a very hard time of being homeless and living out in the woods and generally not being welcome into most cities, especially as they heard his last name. But some time has passed, and the rumors about him have gone. And during that time, he was able to join into a church and was able to become a paladin and start working generally in helping people and especially fighting off demons and devils and stuff and things that are not of this earth,
Yes.
as he likes to say. And so, he is under a church that is believes in one God, and I should explain how he looks. He has normal chainmail armor, pretty average chainmail armor, but he has long black hair that he usually keeps in a ponytail, as long as a.
It's very paladin-y to have the ponytail. I feel like.
Yeah,
He looks like
right.
Gaston.
But he has a mustache. He has a very nice mustache.
Really?
Which Gaston does not have. So, fuck Gaston.
Yeah, fuck him.
And so with that, he does not believe that the death is rarely the answer. It can be. The death for anything that is non-humanoid is totally fine. Totally okay. Animals,
But like bandits
yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
But bandits and stuff, he will try to keep alive to the best of his ability.
So it sounds like he's racist against anybody who's not human.
No.
Well,
Well,
no.
elves and stuff, he still won't
Humanoids.
kill.
Humanoids,
Humanoids.
okay.
What about
Exactly.
orcs?
He is fine with them.
He's
He-
fine with orcs?
Goblins?
He is fine with those too.
Ooh, he's
Humanoids.
progressive.
Mhm.
Very progressive.
Mhm. But as soon as you start taking the form of some sort of beast,
So every time
No.
what about dogs?
nope.
He'll kill dog?
Oh yeah, he
What the
doesn't
fuck?
care.
You're gonna leave a goblin alive, but you're gonna kill some dog?
Oh yeah,
You can just
kill
not
cats,
kill
dogs.
Okay, cats, I'm not arguing that, but
yeah.
a dog?
Don't kill cats.
People like cats.
I like
yeah.
cats.
Nobody likes cats.
I do.
Cats are shit.
I like dogs better, but I like cats too.
Some people like cats.
So whenever we're in combat, you're just gonna, and it's like against bandits that won't surrender or something. You've tried, and you'll just, what is it, like non-lethal damage each one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Will you get mad if we don't?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I will make sure to make that very clear before we go into any battle or anything like that.
Fantastic.
Like, we're on
Wow.
this quest right now.
This is going to be really interesting.
Oh,
Well,
God.
Finworth is not have a problem with that because he doesn't necessarily like killing. He's just there to have fun.
Yeah.
So that actually makes things easier
Okay,
for him.
great.
How would I non-lethally take someone out with my thunder cannon?
You have to tell you.
Am I
like,
just blowing
put
legs
that
off?
thing down.
Yeah, you'd have to be blowing limbs
Shoot him in the
off.
knee, just
He is
blow their
totally okay
kneecap
with
off.
But there's a possibility of them bleeding out.
Right? And then I got...
Depending on it depends. I
Sometimes
think
that happens.
I think discussing the rules of D&D, right? I think if you're like I want to do non-lethal damage and blow one of his legs off.
Yeah.
And you roll natural 20, it's like you fucking precisionally shoot him
But you-
in the leg and you
Crit
know,
fail.
take-
You blow his brains out.
Exactly. And that's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
I'm down with that, though.
Yeah, and so, but
We're
he
the
is
cleanup crew. We're just
all for
fucking-
punishments of every sort.
That's
and
really cool.
Any kind of torture, anything like that, he is totally okay with. But no death.
Just
They
like,
can't
you're
die.
like a superhero. Yeah, we'll just leave
Yeah.
him tied up and like
Yeah.
send a pigeon off to the town guard
Yeah.
saying, come to this location.
What about with this demon and devil crisis, though?
Mm.
If he runs into a demon, right?
Kill
you know,
it.
say random. Okay, so you would kill. Them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anything from
definitely.
another plane.
Mhm, yeah.
What about
exactly.
angels?
Angels, that's a solid question.
That is a very good question.
That is a very good question. I don't think he would kill them, but he would not think of
Be
them
like, you need to leave.
As friends.
Get
as friends or anything.
Unless you're here killing
I'm
demons,
just
you
gritting
need
my
Yeah.
teeth over here right now.
you come up with like 17 ideas a minute.
He doesn't think anything of them, really.
Oh, okay,
How
well,
much?
That's good.
How much time has passed from when he was a kid up until now?
It's been about like 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So he
So
was,
is he in
it's
his
still
teens?
relatively fresh. then.
yeah, he was in his teens when that happened. He was probably 16, 15.
Okay.
something
Okay,
like that.
so now he's in his
Mid-20s.
early 20s.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so he,
That's a good age. Good right age. For sex.
I think I've said everything that I need to.
I wonder if the mic picked that
is,
up.
is Van Sanson a virgin? Was he getting laid out in the woods?
Certainly.
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 A
Fucking
paladin.
animals.
A paladin in his young 20s.
A paladin in the young 20s.
I'm
So
really-
supple. So supple.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
So
Pinky lists little boy.
I think when we first started playing D&D, I think paladin was my least favorite class. I don't know why, it just was. But kind of as we started playing, especially as I started DMing, I was like, a paladin would be really cool to have around.
Oh yeah.
I actually love
Usually.
paladins now because they're very like, this is what my god wants, so this is what I'm gonna do, and that's fucking beautiful for this campaign.
Yep.
Was there anything else you want to say about your character?
No, I don't think so.
Alright.
But he does also help
Good
out
time.
anybody they can. at
Is
any moment.
is he at all interested in the person who ratted out his family.
Oh yeah.
He still wants to get revenge for that,
Certainly.
Good.
even though they
he
helped
needs to
get
serve his
justice.
punishment.
Cool.
He wouldn't kill him, but he's gonna punish him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's all about.
But
He's
why
all
would he
about
punish
punishment.
them?
He's all about. That's exactly.
But they
what he's
didn't.
about.
They did the right thing.
They did that.
They did what he would do now.
He's technically.
That's true. So maybe he wouldn't be. No, he wouldn't be at all.
That is
I
something
think
we might be able to dive into later.
he feels like he's
Or
served.
maybe he needs to thank them for setting him on the right
He
path.
feels like he's served his punishment.
Oh, yeah.
Considering he's got 8 fingers now.
That's true.
And so yeah, that's true. At some point he would have felt like that, but not anymore.
Does that him only having 8 fingers? Does that play into?
You don't need your pinkies. Not that.
Yeah, your pinky. If you got both your thumbs cut off, it'd be a little different. Your thumbs are pretty important.
Yeah.
He ain't playing many musical instruments. He can play the drums.
Unfortunately, having a pinky.
Not true. There are people that can play guitar that have like
No, he
maybe 6
just
fingers.
he legitimately doesn't have the talent.
No, I don't.
God doesn't like musical instruments.
I know pinkies do affect swordplay in some sort, but he's practiced for long enough. Basically, his entire life, he's had to have
Is he
a sword
like a
with him.
master now?
Sure.
Sure, if that stops
Because,
the
I mean,
question.
If he's been a paladin for 6 or 7 years, that means that he's
So he had already
certainly
had experience with a sword beforehand,
Right.
Yeah.
and then now had to practice for the next 6 or 7 years without a pinky. So now he's got it. He's got it down now.
What do you use
very
a
cool.
sword? You actually use a sword?
I
Okay.
use a large, long sword.
Oh,
Do you have a shield?
Two-handed.
No, no.
I do have a shield.
But you just don't use it.
It switches. It
Switch
depends.
Oh, you also have a one-handed weapon. Or
Yes.
something?
We don't have to
switch.
decide all
Oh,
this
nice.
right now
Oh,
either.
okay.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a super interesting dynamic between
Yeah.
our characters.
Should be interesting.
And we're gonna throw a fourth interesting dynamic in because let's talk about
Okay.
a fucking area now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are gonna throw a very fourth interesting dynamic in. So, we are beginning in an area that's called Ruaun Gardens.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Let's do some.
Actually, more specifically, it's called the floating. You could really call it like the floating gardens of Ruaun, something along those lines. The gardens of Ruaun, basically a chain of islands in the sky.
Oh,
Starting in the sky.
Think of it like, and it's big too. Think of it like kind of like Hawaii almost,
Okay.
but in the air.
The Philippines, maybe?
And it's almost like, think of it like the floating gardens of Babylon. Or the gardens of Babylon, not the floating gardens of Babylon. Gardens of Babylon, where it's like all just kind of like real, just perfect. Everything is planted perfectly in this place.
right.
There's vegetation all over the place.
for the whole place.
Everywhere on this island.
Oh shit!
Because
there's some
you
magic.
want to know who populates these chain of islands. The archangels do.
Oh,
Oh, would you look at that?
holy
Yes.
shit! We're in heaven.
It's already
Are we
coming
dead?
Yeah.
You're in
died
a weird
already.
in between.
Finworth is already certain that they're dead.
Yes. So the gardens are beautiful, right? This place is probably one of the most beautiful places on this planet.
Is
And-
it one of the 7 wonders?
You don't know,
That's a good question, though.
but you might find out.
We're gonna destroy this place.
So
Just picture a large fire.
think of just beautiful, perfect architecture everywhere, statues, perfectly groomed and planted plants all over these islands. This chain of islands is roughly 15 plus islands, all varying sizes, of course, but the main city is where the archangels are primarily populated, especially right now. And we will kind of get into details of why right now they are on their one big island as opposed to all of them.
Okay.
So
Sounds like they're getting ready for something.
possibly,
Something's attacking them.
possibly.
What's the
We'll
name of the
find
main
out.
city?
It's all just Ruaun. There's
Okay,
no like
okay,
name
gotcha.
for like the main city. Because
Ruaun is pretty much the main
Exactly.
city. It's all one place.
yeah, it's
Gotcha.
all one area. Think of it like this is all one city, and for some reason they're stuck right there. Yeah, so if it was like, Vandoria, for example, and there was some attacking force on the outside, and everyone was driven into like the rich area of town,
Ooh, they wouldn't let that happen.
Kind of like
They'd
that.
let those poor people die.
Yeah, it'd be less money. It'd be less people for them.
And
You got tickets and no, you die.
so why don't we talk about what's going on a little bit? So you guys know already you have been employed by Cock. You're kind of like the alpha group, right? You are like there's a couple main force groups, kind of like your old group. There's a couple main forces of groups kind of doing the same thing. You are on that alpha group. This shit relies on you. You were sent to this area to get this shit done. Whatever they need, that's what you're here to take care of.
Okay.
Now, the Archangels, let's talk about them for a second. Mm-hmm. Archangels are all good characters. They are all perfect.
Okay.
Fallen angels do exist, of course. They will not be found here. This area, any NPC or character in this area is going to be a good alignment character.
Gotcha.
They will not allow any type of chaos or thievery or anything like that in their area.
Okay.
Another thing to note about Archangels is they complete any task perfectly with no problems.
Okay.
But only when their God gives the order. Now, their God is the supreme God, right? That's what they say.
Okay.
You know, their God is the one and only God that exists. He's the God that exists over all other fake gods. Their God is the God. And
They're talking shit on your god, bro.
and they will only follow their God's orders,
Okay.
which
I
is
wonder if it's the same god as your god.
I would probably think it's the same thing. If I heard that, yeah.
well, their God is nameless. Their God is the one and only God. Everything else is a false prophet to them.
Okay.
Do you have a name for your god?
No, I don't. It's just God, yeah.
And that's something we can dive into that. shit
I
later
think
if we want.
Taryn would just assume that it's like, oh yeah, we're talking about the same.
Yeah.
God,
Even
yeah.
if you're wrong,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Obviously.
So that's kind of where we're at right now. And you are there to and the Archangels know that you're employed by Cock because they asked for your help.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're gonna find out. This and I should say, so this chain of islands, each island is sort of connected by kind of like a teleporter. So sort of like on the edge of each island, you'll find like a teleport circle created by, whatever entity created it, whether that be God or the Archangels or whoever created it. And that kind of teleports you to each island. So while we're doing this, we're kind of going to start making a map of Ruan.
Okay.
Because it's going to be really important to show you kind of like...
What teleporters go where?
Exactly.
Okay.
You said there was like 15 islands?
Roughly 15
Roughly
islands.
15 islands.
Okay.
From what you guys know.
It depends on who you talk to. They debate. It's like, how big is the object? Is it just a islandette, one that orbits another island, or is it big enough to be?
Is it like a moon or is it a planet?
Exactly, a planetoid. There's dwarf islands.
Like I said, think of it as Hawaii.
Is that
Think
a
of it
lake
like
or an
Hawaii.
ocean?
And the Archangels, they're not the only ones that populate this area.
Okay.
There are not like villages of other people, visitors,
Okay.
passers through.
Like us.
Exactly. Some people that may stay, some people may live there.
Is it kind of like a mecca of sorts?
No.
Okay.
So think of
Shut
the main city is like a giant tower, and it almost looks like it's made of like silicone kind of.
Okay.
It's really hard to describe. It's almost like a giant anthill, the tower, but it's perfectly made. Like it's just there's almost like this golden luminescence to all this shit. And then of course, on around the city, there's like just beautiful, just like gardens and shit, kind of planted all over it, perfectly groomed, perfectly flowered, everything. This place is perfect all year long, and it kind of travels around the world, like it kind of just floats around the world.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I ask you a question about the archangels and I guess kind of just the way the city works?
Yes.
Are they each
do they have families there, or are they there on a specific mission? They're here to do their work, and
It's not like the Archangels are a very interesting race. They're not like they're not like a family race. They're kind of like God-appointed people that
Gotcha.
hang around the planet and whatever order they're kind of there so that if an order is given by God, because remember, angels exist too.
Yeah.
Archangels are kind of like that third fucking layer of this.
So
they're like God's like number.
They're God's they're God's
go-to.
front line.
Yeah.
Think
So-
of it like that.
But
They're like the knights.
But they're kind
Basically.
of like demons in a sense that they just exist,
Yes.
right? Yeah, they don't
Right.
they don't have kids and things. There's no
Yeah,
family
they're
unit.
they're
Cool.
people that ended
It's not
up
a
with God.
it's not
however.
a city of people. There's
Yeah.
just archangels. Each archangel is a fully grown. I'm a fucking. Kill
It's
you
a very
if you're
big
bad.
it's a very big area, and there are, think of it like an army living in this area, an army of
Okay.
archangels that
Yeah.
populate this area. That's a really good way to describe it. But there are other races there that you'll run into, specifically shop owners,
Oh, okay.
because the archangels, they have what they need.
Yeah.
If God gives the order, okay, so for example, if there was a demon attack on Vandoria and their God was like, go fucking take care of that, with 100% accuracy, that would be taken care of.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they're having some problem right now.
I was gonna say. So what you're saying is, God didn't care about those kids that we had to go save,
Possibly.
or at least this God.
Either that and this,
Or he knew we would take care
this
of
is
it.
kind of metagaming, but
That's fine.
there's whatever happened somehow broke the divide, or maybe there's a reason why they can't get down to
Yeah.
Earth anymore,
Why
or
they
not Earth,
focused
excuse
here.
me, but they can't get down to our realm, and that's
Material
why
plane.
material
And that's
plane.
something we'll kind of jump into a little bit. We'll be able to play for a little bit right now, of course. We know that. Our listeners don't, but now they do. You guys are going to meet, you're going to meet a couple of the archangels today, and maybe we'll kind of get to find out what the fuck is happening around this chain of islands.
Cool.
That is, preventing them from,
Yeah.
doing what they got to do, right?
That's why we're here.
So, what do you guys think?
Sounds great so far.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be cool. So, as I explained before, your group is employed by Cock as kind of the alpha, fucking, main take care of shit group.
Alpha Squad.
Exactly. Now, you guys have just been teleported to the front of the city of Ru'aun, the main island,
Okay.
which is where this big tower is.
That's right.
And I'll just describe that tower once again. So this island, there's almost like a big archway, adorned with just beautiful flowers, just everything's just perfect. Everything is just beautiful. And just statues everywhere, perfectly chiseled. Everything in this place is perfect.
Who teleported us?
So the teleportation circles are kind of like, you were expected to be here, so they'd kind of like appeared wherever you were before. Let's say that was Vandoria, Cock's main area.
Okay.
But it
Which
was
is-
the angels that teleported
it would be
us
the
here?
angels that
because
would-
we
Okay.
were going to go there, so they
But
could.
Cock is the one who set it up, right?
Yes, so Cock had been in had a discussion with the archangels, and they basically said, "Hey, you need to come here."
Cool.
Okay.
They set up the meeting, and then they delivered
Yes.
transportation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very weird area. This island, or this chain of islands, floats kind of around the world.
Okay.
And it's always where it needs to be.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like we were saying before. Like parts of this is just we're just not gonna be able to understand, like because it's like above
Like the
us.
the
Like,
teleporting
it's-
magic is beyond us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, like,
Yeah.
beyond, like, where we
It's
are.
something just unearthly and godlike. So
I
you
still
guys
want the blueprint.
So
can
you
make some
guys
of these.
you guys are pretty close to where the main city is. You're kind of like, it's directly in front of you, maybe a couple 100 feet in front of you. On the way, it's like I said before, going towards the city is this big archway, sort of adorned with flowers and vines and just all these beautiful plants, some that you've maybe even never seen before. And you are greeted by probably something you've never seen before. Right in front of you, as you kind of come through this teleportation, you're, I would imagine, some kind of baffled. Like, what the fuck? Maybe that's something you've never done before.
Is it nausea-inducing, or do we feel okay?
It could be. I don't know.
Can I roll a Constitution
Absolutely.
saving throw to see how Finworth handles teleporting?
Sure.
Because he's never
I
teleported.
should all. I mean, I think all of you guys should.
Find out. Oh, dang it! That's no good. I rolled a 10.
With Constitution?
Yes.
And I have proficiency in that. That was a +7.
What'd you get?
A 10.
Jesus.
So I got a 16.
Okay.
I'm probably fine.
Yes, you are fine.
13.
Okay. I would say.
Finworth had a big breakfast.
I would say that Mr. Doctor and Taryn are probably okay. I would say Fenworth is borderline, maybe a little nauseous, but you didn't throw up.
Okay,
But you maybe get a little
he
nauseous.
stumbles a bit, but like puts his hand up against Taryn to like steady himself like a wall, like a wall. He's like, whoa.
And you guys are somewhat acquainted by now. You guys kind of know each other at this point. So I would say you guys maybe have been employed by Cock for a couple months at this point.
Okay.
Never mind.
What?
I wanted to give him because I wanted to see if I could tell that he was like uneasy.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm not hiding it. I'm not. Yeah, I'm like.
I can't.
Yeah, you're right in front of
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
okay.
y'all are all right next to each other.
And so I'm like, oh shit, I haven't thought of my voice yet. Shit. Oh.
Wing it,
Wing it. Yeah. You okay there, brother?
brother.
Oh, I don't think I'm feeling so good.
Touch the loggy. Magic. Rabbit claw. Rabbit foot.
Are you holding it out?
Yeah, it's just like it's on my back and I flip around.
Well, how high up is it?
It's like it's.
He would have to jump,
so-
or you'd have to kneel down.
Yeah, so it's. Oh, actually, I'm gonna have it at the bottom of
Of the hammer?
Of the hammer.
So you can hold it down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's just it's on my back right now, and it's down in his area.
I like desperately reach out and rub it with both hands. Oh, I hope this works.
That's the stuff.
Now, ahead of you guys, while you're kind of going through this talk about nausea, you see a man kind of flying towards you. He's not like flying fast. He's more like floating towards you. And ahead, you see this very bright blue light coming towards you guys. And in the middle is a man. In the middle of these two bright blue wings is a man. Perfectly sculpted. He's got silver armor on, long black hair, very long black hair, silky, perfect.
Whoa, is it
blue
better
eyes.
than Van Sansen's?
I would say it's better than Van Sansen's.
Shit, dude.
I'm jealous.
That's
And
nice
he's,
hair.
in fact, he's probably one of the most beautiful men that you've ever seen. And even
Finworth goes, whoa.
very bright blue wings. I can't stress that enough.
Okay.
Almost blinding. And this man floats towards you guys and says, "Hello, we've been expecting you."
Yes,
Finworth is just jaw open, just staring at him, staring
Yeah,
up. Like,
I've never.
No, none of you.
But, like,
I
kinda
haven't seen anything
squinting.
like this before.
None of you guys have probably seen archangels
Yeah,
before. They're
yeah.
not very common.
So you're an archangel, right?
Yes, I am. Of course, I am.
Okay.
We all are. Come, please. And he motions you guys to kind of follow him. And he kind of flutters around. His wings are just perfect, feathered blue wings. Or they're white wings with like a blue glimmer almost.
Okay.
And he turns around and begins kind of floating through this archway that leads into the main city.
Okay.
And if you want to follow.
Yeah, definitely follow,
certainly.
but
And-
still.
And
like,
you guys are in awe with
Yeah.
this archway.
Speechless.
It's like the most beautiful plants you've
And
ever seen.
do we see other archangels like floating around?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But as soon as you enter the city, which is kind of where you're heading now, you begin walking through the archway, and you're walking towards this giant, this silicone-looking, like, I'm trying to think of what it would look like. It's really just like a giant, let me see. It's like this. It's literally just like that. It's like it's like a giant anthill adorned with like plants and just gardens kind of around it, just well sculpted.
Right.
There's a big open entrance
Okay.
right in the front. So you're kind of walking, or
Like a door?
huh?
Or is that the arch?
Oh, it's open.
Okay.
It's like a like
Gotcha,
a big.
gotcha.
Yeah, these guys really don't have anything to worry
You
about.
don't need to worry about doors when you're an angel.
Yeah, there's not even like guards. You know, the
You
door.
want people to see that angel dick.
Yeah,
The only way you're gonna be here is if they bring you here. Kind
exactly. So, you guys begin to walk through this big open doorway
I think
as
got a lot
you're
of
following
interesting
him.
stuff to steal.
Don't do that.
You don't know what's in the bag. It's another plane.
True.
Yeah.
But you guys begin following him in towards this big city, which you kind of, your characters would be familiar. You guys would know what this place is, right? You just have never laid eyes on it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's almost like a myth.
You've gotten like kind of like a mission briefing,
Yeah.
or you've maybe even heard of this place.
Okay.
Y'all probably heard of this place. I found out about it during the mission.
And says, please follow me.
Oh,
I
also still don't comprehend the fact that we're in the sky.
it's pretty hard to.
Because we haven't actually
comprehend.
walked to the edge, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
guys-
true.
Yeah, so...
So you teleported pretty close to the edge.
Okay.
Okay.
You would have teleported like literally like right where this is.
So we could have walked over and looked
yeah,
over.
maybe
We didn't, though.
maybe
Yeah,
50
yeah.
feet behind you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't
Could've-
even notice it. I was staring at the
Yeah,
Archangel.
yeah.
Yeah, you would probably be
distracted
staring
there.
at the gardens in the city because
Yeah.
it's more beautiful than anything you've seen, more
Mm-hmm.
than likely.
Yeah.
Probably not going to turn away from the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
No,
Dr.
probably not.
Euphoria. Got a boner.
And
Confirmed.
so you guys,
Euphoria boner confirmed.
ooh, and you guys walk through this big open doorway and into the city, and now you're kind of seeing this bright blue luminescence from this thing's wings. It almost glows brighter because now there are a handful of archangels kind of in front of you. Now the way this place is laid out is it's almost, think of it like a tower with kind of like floating platforms per level and one spiral staircase kind of for the guests to go up to each level.
How tall is Van Sanson?
He is a little over 6 feet.
Okay, I reach up and I tug on Van Sanson and I just go up. Up.
Fine.
And I climb up onto his shoulders.
Roll a athletics check.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
Hold on real quick actually. Are you lifting him?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm at
Okay.
least helping him.
You need to roll an athletics.
Okay.
I'm a small boy. I'm 2 feet. Or just under 3 feet.
Okay. I got 16 plus.
It just drops me.
I know, that's what I was wanting.
Not natural 20, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so no problem. You're able to lift.
Alright, I'm like standing on his shoulder, like reaching down to. I'm 2 feet, 10 inches. I'm tall. I'm a tall boy. I'm a tall boy.
I'm the tallest one in my family.
I'm actually one of the shortest, but I'm fat.
Yeah.
So
I'm
So-
tall, but sideways.
I'm like holding onto his head, but I just like looking up to see as much as I can.
Yeah.
So after and there's really kind of on this first floor, there's kind of just a couple of archangels just hanging out. It's not really like they don't need to sleep or anything. So there's
Oh, yeah.
you notice there's no housing, there's no really nothing on this floor. It's it's not really like populated because it's kind of just like the entrance to their area. They're probably going to be more towards the top. So your guide he turns around and he just says, "My name's Gabriel. I'm going to just apologize because we like to cut straight to business, so I'm taking you to talk to Michael, kind of the leader of our faction here." And he's kind of guiding you guys to the spiral staircase at this point. So you're kind of just like following Gabriel through this area.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think we would still keep doing that.
Yeah.
I,
After you write the names down. Did you write both names down?
yeah, I'm writing it down right now.
Okay.
But I would like to say, man, it's like staring into the sun, but it doesn't hurt. It's in fact quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it's more of a luminescence. It may have been blinding at first because it threw you off,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's
Oh,
more of like
Are
just
you
a-
wearing a
West.
helm?
Yeah.
Okay, so your head's covered.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like stroking, absent-mindedly stroking your head.
God damn it.
You just stroke the helmet.
Yeah, I think he still would. He would.
Just rubbing
He'd be
the
like,
helmet,
like, but just be going like, yeah, like agreeing with you. He's still kind of just awestruck about everything.
Yeah. It's a very awe-inspiring place. So, the first floor, like I said, it's kind of just the entrance. That's not really where they're at. You can see kind of up above if you look, because you can see straight above you on the sides. Like, think of this, it's like inside of like, here's like the main mound for the city, right? Think of it like discs, kind of like this, and the sides kind of go up.
Okay.
Or you can see up on the side all the way to the top. It's kind of like floors, right? And there's not a lot of floors.
Okay.
But it's open, and then there's like one staircase that kind of spirals up.
Because they also can just fly.
Yeah, they fly. Like I said, the staircase is for you guys,
Yeah.
like the people. And as you're
That's
going,
very kind of them.
yes.
Yeah. Thoughtful.
So there are
What about people in wheelchairs?
not
fly
except
'em up?
they'd fly them up. Maybe.
Okay.
Teleporters, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure they can get. Yeah, if they
Yeah.
can get him to a mysterious
Really need
island.
staircase.
It's a heaven. It's heaven. There's nobody in wheelchairs here. They don't get to come here.
And this place is pretty. It's pretty big.
Okay.
It's pretty big. There are 5 floors. I'm actually glad I drew that like that. There are 5 floors, and so we'll just describe, kind of how the first floor is. The rest of the floors are pretty much the same.
Okay.
So you guys begin kind of ascending up the spiral staircase, and you make it to the first floor of the city. And that is where you kind of start seeing a lot more population. You see more archangels kind of floating around doing their thing. You see kind of shops set up, but you notice each shop is owned, or at each shop, it's not an archangel there. It's someone of some different race. So as you're kind of walking to get to the next set of stairs, you are noticing all this. The housing is kind of built on the sides, like the edge of these like floating discs that the staircase connects. But the housing, you can tell, is not built by the archangels. It's kind of built by like
The shop owners.
whoever, the shop owners and
Right,
the people kind of running any kind of commerce in this place. And each floor kind of, as you go up, is the same. And Gabriel's guiding you up. The archangels are very straight to business. This is what you're here for.
Okay.
This is what you're gonna do. If you can't help us, we'll get somebody else that can.
Oh.
Very straight to business.
Okay.
But they're nice.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
very kind.
Right.
Like, they wouldn't be like, oh, you guys fucking suck at this. Like, we'll
Teleport
just
back.
hire someone else. You're gone.
But also no shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys begin ascending up these staircases, and they're not steep. They're very shallow, right?
Okay.
It's a lot of walking to get to the top floor, where
I'm
Michael
glad
is.
I'm riding on your shoulders, because these staircases would
I'm
kill
thinking
me.
that too. I'm like, I wish he wasn't on my shoulders.
I would say that you guys are a little, like,
I'm looking
winded.
I'm looking at you on his shoulders, and I'm just like, God, I'm glad that's not me.
And I
Sweaty
go
now.
like, wow, that's a lot of stairs.
Would you even be able to, like, because you're only 2 feet tall, would you be like, because you gotta imagine like a
Yeah, it would
stairs
be
like that,
hell for me.
It would,
Yeah.
it would like
Like-
you'd have to
Like,
step
it
up.
sucks for you with me on your shoulders.
Uh-huh.
It would be hell for me with nobody on my shoulders.
I will struggle quietly.
So you guys ascend up these staircases, and you pass the first, you pass the first 4 floors and end up to the 5th floor.
Okay.
Now the 5th floor, once again, it almost has a golden archway leading into it, and this golden archway is, it's got a gold luminescence coming out of it. You walk into a room, and this room is, once again, this room is adorned with vines, just beautiful, and there's almost a gold luminescence coming off them. Far ahead, kind of on the far wall, because you're at the top of the tower now, is a giant throne, and sitting in that throne is another very large archangel, another just real beautiful man. And standing in front of him is another man. They both have, the one sitting in the throne has very long white hair, from what you can see as you walk up.
Okay.
And Gabriel kind of stops at the entrance, and he just says, please proceed and speak to Michael ahead. And he kind of points ahead.
We're off the stairs.
You guys are up the stairs.
Okay.
You're in the room now.
I pat I pat Taryn on the head, and I go, yeah, thanks, and I jump off.
Oh, thank God.
And so you guys kind of begin approaching. The man that's sitting kind of in front of the throne, once again, he has long black hair. Both of them, very large weapons on their hips. Very large swords.
Okay. Is it bigger than mine?
Much bigger.
Okay.
Well, they're big too,
Yes,
right?
they are.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So you guys kind of start. You're. I would say you're almost like hesitant to approach because this man is in this throne is very intimidating, and you can tell the one that's in front of his throne is some kind of like right hand man, maybe.
Okay.
Can I?
man.
And he just says, "Welcome, please approach."
Okay.
What do you want to ask? I'm sorry.
I feel like even though like this is not necessarily my god, like I'm
Yes.
still part of that religious kind of like I recognize that this is a
Holy person.
like a holy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's intimidating in a sense.
Yes, I would say
Well,
so.
because you're not a bigot like they are. You know that there are other gods.
Yeah.
You also, and I would say you guys have a rough knowledge of archangels and how they interact and work, and so this isn't a surprise. You kind of know, like, we're here to take care of business.
Right.
They know the same thing, so this isn't a surprise. It's just awe-inspiring how beautiful the place is, how beautiful the angels are.
Right.
Like,
Right.
not angels, but archangels are different. So
Okay. Yeah.
don't confuse the two.
So I'll go ahead and.
They'd get pissed.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and take off my helmet and
Okay.
walk
Oh,
up.
now
and,
he
That's
does.
kind.
well, I was gonna take a knee and just ask him. So you've invited us for some help, yes?
He says, "Please stand. Please stand.
Okay.
No need to kneel here."
Okay.
And he says, we have a problem that may be up your alley, I suppose."
Sounds about right. Let's do it.
And says, well, we have kind of begun getting attacked on our chain of islands here, and we're starting to lose islands now to this problem.
How many do you have now?
Says, well, we've lost 5 islands now. And we're expecting to lose more. And he says, as you know, with the rise of Dashu, that's not the only thing that has risen. And he says,
Right.
have you ever heard of an entity called Kirin? And
No,
maybe you
not
guys can
familiar.
history
I was
check.
gonna say I want to history check
History
that
check.
shit.
Yeah. Natural 20.
Damn. So you obviously fucking know everything.
I know my
History is a
demonic
wisdom
history.
or
Absolutely.
11.
Okay. You've probably heard the name.
14.
All right. And I almost called you. Okay.
Who was Karen?
So Taryn, huh?
That's Fenworth to you, buddy.
So okay, so Fenworth and Mr. Doctor would probably would know the name. They've heard it somewhere. You know, especially working with Cock, you kind of know your demonology a little bit. Taryn knows everything. Taryn knows that Kieran
Taryn
is
knows
a demonic entity that was pretty much wiped out by the archangels maybe a few hundred years ago.
Okay. Okay.
But Taryn also knows that with Kieran, and especially with the quote-unquote 5 islands wiped out, that Kieran isn't the only thing that probably rose with Kieran. Rising with Kieran, the other entities that would have risen with Kieran would be Bayako, which is Byakko, Genbu, Genbu, Seiryu, Seiryu, and Suzaku. So it's Suzakku.
Damn, is that like the Ginyu squad?
Pretty much
What was the first name?
Bayako. It's Byakko. So Taryn knows everything about this stuff. You know that you're like 5 islands, Kieran, oh shit.
You wrote your paladin thesis on Byaku.
Yes, and so you and you know that the other 4 names, not including Kieran, are kind of like they're almost like you kind of need something from them to, you know, get to Kieran more than likely.
Okay.
Because Kieran has a tendency of putting up some kind of seal into where he's at.
Okay. So...
And they're the ones responsible for taking the islands?
They have been taking our islands, and unfortunately we have not been given the order to take them out, so we kind of had to hire some outside help.
Okay.
And I think this may have something to do with your dragon problem.
Can I, Dr. Euphoria, by the way. Can I
know who you are.
Thanks,
Well.
Michael.
Thanks, Mikey, baby.
You're very welcome.
What exactly are they?
Well, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Bayako takes the form of a tiger, some kind of tiger-like entity. Genbu takes the shape of a turtle, a very large turtle, I might say. Suryo takes shape of a dragon,
Oh, I don't like that one.
almost like a wyvern.
Sounds like we'll be running into that one soon.
And Suzaku is kind of like a giant bird of sorts.
Okay.
Typically, we could handle this with ease, no problem, but for some reason we're not hearing back from God, and we don't know why.
I do.
Fenworth,
Which is a problem.
should you really say what you're about to say?
No.
Let's not say what you're about to say.
And,
I'm thinking
and,
it.
and the man standing kind of in front of the throne, the man standing right next to him, he's kind of just standing there just watching. Like, you can tell he's very, like, serious, like, I'm here to guard.
Okay. Alright. So, what do you need us to do exactly?
Well,
It sounds dangerous, I can assure you of that.
well, Kieran has made some kind of barrier around himself on one of the far islands. And in order to get to him, you're going to have to cut through everybody else. And we're unable to assist, unfortunately.
Since your god has not commanded you to.
Of course, yes.
Don't worry, I think he knows what's right.
Being a holy man yourself, I'm sure you understand.
Of course.
Who needs God when you got this baby? And I'll sling out my rifle.
And you see the right-hand man immediately pulls out this giant white sword.
Bigger than you are.
Yeah.
Not like in a threatening way, but like a I'm ready
Yeah, and
way.
Fenworth nods and this guy knows what's up.
And
Let's go.
Michael
Okay, all right.
says,
I grab my
Put it
warhammer.
away. Put it away.
Yeah.
Fenworth.
and you hear Michael say, Dio, please put your weapon away. And immediately his weapon goes back in his holster.
I put my weapon back.
Fensworth, you put your weapon away too.
Okay. He has no idea that there was any kind of aggression there. he thought everybody was getting ready to fight.
Now, as you are kind of speaking to Michael, kind of getting this mission briefing, outside you hear a very loud explosion. A very loud, and it shakes this area.
It's already started.
And Michael goes, it sounds like our problem is progressing towards the city now. That's why we called you up on such short notice, which I apologize for, of course. And he kind of bows towards you guys.
No, please. We are here to help.
And he says, this has been progressing fairly quickly, and we need it taken care of as soon as we can, or we might lose our city if we don't hear back, then we'll lose our city.
Is this something that's common for your god to not communicate?
We have never had this problem before. Not in hundreds of years.
Oh, things are in worse shape than I thought.
And he says, this hasn't happened since the last time Dashu rose.
Dashu is their god.
And you guys know who Dashu is, of
Oh, yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Because he fucked everything up.
Yeah.
And he says, if you guys are ready to take care of all this, I can have you guided down to where you need to go.
I
Or,
certainly think that's a good idea.
Let's do
if
this.
there's anything that you need to pick up while you're in the city, there are many vendors of all shapes and sizes located throughout the layers. I don't know how much time we have, but
think we should get
I'm
some
sure
now.
you have some time to pick up some equipment if you would like to do so.
And then I look back at my bag. I'm like, I am pretty fucking empty.
Yeah.
We'll run to the potions. We'll run to the alchemist before we go.
All
Seems
right.
like a good idea. But quickly, with
Sounds like a
haste.
plan to me.
Yeah. So, Michael kind of guides Gabriel to kind of come into the room, and then he says, "Dio, Gabriel, please guide these fine gentlemen down to the 3rd floor so they can pick up some goods." And so you're able to kind of walk to the edge of the throne room. You're able to see straight down all the way to the bottom. Like if you jumped off this and someone didn't go catch you, you'd die.
Okay. Careful,
Yeah.
Fansworth.
Guys, we're in the sky.
And now,
It just clicked for me.
as you guys are kind of looking down over the edge, Mr. Doctor and Fenworth are both picked up by these 2 large hands, kind of on the back of the shirt, which is Dio picking you guys up. He's able to lift you guys up with ease, and you kind of begin fluttering down over this fucking edge.
Yeah.
And then
Guess I'll take
Terrence,
the stairs
before
then.
you-
well,
like
and then Terrence, Gabriel's able to grab
Okay,
Terrence,
okay.
and Terrence a little bit bigger than. And also, Dio's also bigger than Gabriel is. So.
Okay.
So and he floats you guys down to the 3rd floor, and there you are, in the middle of this city. Archangels floating around,
Okay.
shops owned by all kinds of vendors of sorts.
So
And-
a nice, pleasurable shopping experience.
yes,
I turn
And-
around and pat Dio on the leg and go, "Thanks, buddy."
and he gives you kind of like a smile, and he lets you guys down. He
I probably
floats
patted
back
his
up.
knee.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
or
you would have
shin.
patted
Yeah,
like
yeah.
his shin.
Yeah.
Who had picked this up again?
Dio.
Dio.
The bodyguard.
Okay. I turned to Dio and hey, Dio, what can we expect to see over here on this island?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. What would you like to see?
They took us to the shops. Like
You're in the
Oh,
shops.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, you're in the city to pick up some equipment,
Okay, great.
which is what we'll do next time.
I
more
love
likely.
shopping.
So now you guys kind of know what the fuck is happening in this place.
Great.
And we got our mission.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
so you guys will have some time to pick up some equipment. Well, this is kind of the introduction episode, intro to the problem,
Yep.
introduction to the area, introduction to what's going on. Your characters get to know everybody.
Yep.
So we're
We've
fucking
begun
here.
again.
If we don't screw this up,
Yeah,
we can make friends with Archangel.
yeah, and we're
Fezworth.
we're gonna start off running. It's like I was trying to say earlier. This season is gonna be a lot. It's gonna pack more of a punch.
Okay.
And it's gonna be more fast paced. There's gonna be more shit happening. There's more
Yeah.
danger.
Right.
Yada yada yada. So we're fucking here. We're doing this.
Yeah, we got a list of bad guys we gotta go hunt down.
Yeah,
That's pretty
seriously.
badass.
and that's where we're at. So, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for coming
Thank
back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Season
back.
2.
If you
missed
listened,
you.
we missed you.
Gosh.
If you listened to season 1, we fucking
We love you
we're
for it.
yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
fucking happy to see you back.
That's
Thanks for
insane.
coming
Thanks
back.
for coming. Jeez.
And
Tell all your friends and family.
Yeah.
Season
To,
2's out.
yeah,
Season
to,
two.
to
tell
start
them about our
listening to
website,
season 2.
www.dungeonjunkies.com, where you can find all of our shit. All of the shit.
Ooh.
Episodes, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, you should also tell them to go to iTunes and rate that shit 5 stars. Help us out.
Yeah.
Please help us out. 5 stars for season 2.
Season 2.
5 stars.
And those 16 5 stars. Thank you.
Thank you, boy.
Are we
Thanks
still,
already.
are we
Thanks
still
already.
16?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
I haven't
it.
checked either.
I checked yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Did you?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. We love you.
And you can also follow us at Twitter at Dungeon Junkie, and we will keep you updated on the newest episodes that come out every fucking week.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Especially now that we're back.
Sometimes,
That's right.
sometimes you might get bonus shit in the week,
Mm-hmm.
and the easiest way to find out is through Twitter because you
right.
will definitely get that notification.
Absolutely.
Hop on it.
And I think I speak for everybody when I say that we're super excited
to be back.
Oh, yeah.
We've been putting
I'm
out some
stoked to be back,
content the
finally.
past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
You know how the holiday times
Of course,
get,
of
and
course.
people are out doing things. So,
Yeah.
but we're back, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
And
I'm stoked.
we're all really, really excited about our new characters. And I'm personally excited just to see how our characters are going to interact together
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
with the new story.
Alpha Squad.
Yeah.
Alpha.
All right. I guess we'll fucking see you guys next week. See
Hell
you
yeah.
too, bitch. Later.
I love you.
Bye.
Get into some business.
Daddy.